Family businesses are a very important part of the economy. Over 80% of the GDP in Kenya, around 80% of the GDP is dependent on family businesses, and they account for more than 60% of the workforce. Some of the family businesses that we know of, even in this country, have a great impact on our lives. They're in the hospitality sector, tourism, in the manufacturing, retail, and the FMCGs. So they play an integral part of even our Kenyan economy.
There's evidence that family businesses were probably the earliest business. I mean, people say that there's another enterprise that was the first business, but I like to think that family business was really the origin of all business.
We have seen that certain communities have found ways to deal with succession planning better than others. And we're hoping by creating a network of family business owners and members that we can be able to grow and protect wealth in families so that we can have something to hand over to successive generations.
There is a huge challenge in transitioning wealth. The number of cases that we see today in Kenya of people who built huge fortunes but are today caught up in meetings with lawyers, with consultants about how to disentangle themselves in a web that was created by the fortune that they have been blessed with.
I think when you think about governance, the boards, four things actually: the relations between the board, the management, shareholders, and stakeholders. And if you're a family business, when you're coming in, you have to start appreciating every other family member initially as a stakeholder. Then they have to wiggle their way around those other elements of being a shareholder, by the way they have relationship with their security, their parents. And then from there, then they have to fight in being in marriage to eventually be the board. You find a lot of family businesses, once you're, as fund, for example, you're entitled to be the one who become the eye of the business, which is a mistake.
One of the strongest indicators of a successful family, and particularly the spouses, is that they are dealing with a lot of small conflicts all the time, and they're dealing with them well. What are they doing? They're developing the skills of handling conflicts. Then when something really hits the fan, they have the skill set and they deal with it. Whereas the marriage that you often see that looks so tranquil, so peaceful, and so romantic and so lovely, something quite small will come up and break them up because they lack those skills.
One of the things that will really define whether family enterprises survive is the values and the integrity that they uphold. There's always the challenge of thinking that because you have accumulated wealth and that you are a gifted and talented person, that those genetics have passed on to your next of kin. So the temptation therefore would be that you want to start them from the top. So one of the things that I have learned is you will only be successful in infusing your next generation into your business if they come in from the bottom up.
Another case in our office. The older brother is supposed to be taking over. No, the younger brother is supposed to be taking over because he's clever and not other sponsor. This older guy tells the employer, I carried you at 12 years old for 3 years. And if you can take over to manage this business, that is not about business conflict. That's about childhood and processed rivalry. Sometimes it is healthy, but now it has become unhealthy.
As a family enterprise, members of the family must lead by example by working harder than the rest of the establishment. You've got to be ahead of the game at every turn.
The Mexicans have a saying in Spanish, but I'll only say it in English, that father founder, son rich, grandson poor.